let's discuss the elephant in the room.
Well,
we need to get the mystery out of the way because it has been constant in the comment section.
It's been a few weeks sitting there now.
Yeah, whose is the van? Why is it sitting there? What's the story? And when can I buy it? So this one actually come through the email. It's been to a garage. The guy bought it new. It's very late. It's a 20 or a 21.
Yep.
He was driving it, did drainage. He said the turbo went on it, he believes, because it started smoking. He took it into a garage. I'll be honest, Chris, it's all a bit vague.
Right.
They bought a brand new turbo for it.
Yep.
They put it on. I'm going to be completely honest here, and I don't mean anything by it. They've put a turbo on, fitted it, and then the guys offered him £1,000 for the van, told him it's no good.
What, the engine's no good, yeah?
Yeah, and so obviously I made him a much, much better offer. They said, okay, we'll take the turbo off it. We need to send the turbo back or keep the turbo, but your original one's already gone off for a surcharge, so we can't get that back. He then rung me and said that the garage had beaten my best offer. I said, well, I think that's told you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, I'm going to accept your offer. So it's a bit of a mystery.
Yeah.
But they've taken the turbo back off it, and to be quite honest, apart from putting a bar on it when it arrived and me spinning it over, I don't know anything else about it.
Right. So we're going to assume original turbo went, and that's where all that oil's gone down the exhaust.
Yeah.
So
it's full of water there as well.
it is.
But
doesn't look, I mean, it's hard to tell, isn't it? It doesn't look like that anything else has ever been stripped off of it to me.
no.
So I'm going to assume that they haven't had the intercooler off. And as we know, because we've done quite a few of these now.
Yeah, if you start it up and that's full of
Them
oil.
turbos go, they fill the whole intercooler up, don't
Yeah.
they? So we're going to need to take the intercooler off, I think, and see if that's full of oil. But ultimately, we need a turbo.
I've sorted it, mate. I've already spoke to somebody who's got one that I can actually borrow.
Right. Oh well.
So I mean, he said, look, just you chuck it on there and see if it works for you. And if it does,
well, that's ideal.
We can buy it anyway. But
so, well, shall we do that then? Shall we get the intercooler off? Which I don't think they're that.
No, they're not. It's just down there. But I think you're barking up the right tree. Why hasn't that intercooler been off?
I'm just looking at these pipes to the intercooler, and this one down here.
Yeah, they should have all been off.
That's never been off of there.
No,
that's never been off of there. So it's bit of a risky one, putting a new turbo on without taking them off. I think.
He did say since he bought this, Chris, it's been under warranty,
right?
And he's also got a service plan on it, and it's still got a free service at Ford and an MOT.
Right.
His next service and MOT are due at Ford, but he took this somewhere else, and I think that is, we both know if you took this to Ford and the turbo was gone, they'd want to put new intercooler, new pipes, new turbo, new oil feed. It would just spiral out of control.
They'd probably want that DPF changed, wouldn't they?
Yeah, definitely, mate. I'm going to get going then, go and grab it, and I'll just leave it with you.
Well, looking at it, luckily, they haven't snapped any studs off, because we know from previous about transit manifold studs.
Yeah,
but
a nightmare.
So that's good, isn't it? We're going to need the clamp that clamps the DPF on.
Gasket's still on there,
Gasket's there, but we need...
the nuts?
Yeah, but...
Just looking up in the scuttle, they're not there.
No.
All right, mate, well, I'll go off and get that then.
We've got that, haven't we? So, most of it's there. All right, mate.
I'll go off and get that.
Sounds like a plan, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But the old van's quite straight, really, isn't it?
It is straight,
It's going to be an awful lot of unwrapping for you, mate.
Yeah, but it is what it is, isn't it? It's... Once you start
I bet you that's like brand new under there, don't you? You look down this side, Rob.
Once you start it and you get going...
Oh, here's a bit of a mark up there, to be fair, look.
Yeah.
But...
it's a work van though, mate.
It's a work van, yeah.
Right, I'm going to go off and get this turbo.
All right, mate. Nice one.
So as usual, of course, when we bought this one, we checked it out using our one-stop shop Car Vertical. As you can see, they clearly highlight when there is no issues in green. Now this is a 2020, and I really, really wanted to check it for the financial status of it, really, because you can still have one of these vans up to like a 2015 on finance. So you definitely do want to check, because If someone don't pay their finance and you buy that vehicle, you then become liable for that vehicle. So you will need to pay or they will take it away. So odometer, all looks good. Financial and legal there, all green, all looks good. And damaged, all looks good there as well. Ownerships, it says 2 owners there. It must have been a pre-reg because he actually bought this one new. I'm just going to quickly show you this sample report so you know what to expect if there is an issue, and you can clearly see highlighted there at the top the odometer, financial and legal and damage have all actually got a yellow dot next to them, and when you scroll a little bit further down it says odometer, issue, financial and legal needs attention, and then damage there needs attention as well. If we click on the damage section, it says we found 1 record for this vehicle. The vehicle was marked as an insurance write-off, and then when you scroll further down it gives you more information, and it says there S repairable structural damage. Let's go to the finance and legal status of it. Don't forget, this is just an example. This is not our van. And you can see this vehicle may have financial restrictions, and it says unit stocking. So there's a stocking loan on this. And of course, if you do a check and you think it has been cleared, or they tell you it's been cleared, you can click on more details and it actually gives you the reference number, the contact number. Of course it doesn't on this one because it's an example, and it tells you the lease number, so you can actually ring them up, and by law they have to tell you whether they hold an interest in that vehicle. It's a yes or a no. The vehicle may have fake mileage. We've clicked on that, and then when you scroll down it actually gives you out there a mileage graph, and you can see in 2020 this example report had a massive rollback from 28,000 down to 13. I want to thank Car Vertical for the continued support on the channel. To benefit from a nice little discount off your check, use that code that's been displayed up on screen throughout the check, or hit the link in the description where it will automatically divert you to Car Vertical and include your discount. So I'm just popping to Medway Towns, which is about a 20 minutes, half-hour round trip, just to go and borrow a turbo from a friend. He's got an engine, complete engine sitting there, and he's kindly lent me the turbo. So leaving Chris back at the yard, first thing he's going to do is remove that intercooler, 4 13s, 2 Jubilee clips to undo, and then he's just stood it up inside the drain tray. As soon as I got back he did tell me there's not actually any oil in it, so that was a good thing. The other turbo obviously didn't fire all its oil down in the inside of it because it hasn't even been cleaned out. There was literally nothing in there. So jump pack on there, get some life in the battery, and then he's just waiting for me to come back. Well, I've got the turbo in the back of my van and I'm airing the van out because I've just knocked over a whole can of weed killer. But it's not a word I want to use in a video, but I'm going to say it. I think Chris has found this has actually been sabotaged.
Possibly. I mean, now I know you said you put a bar on it and just tried it briefly, but I thought it'd be prudent to turn it like whole 360, and I turned it a bit and she's locked up, but that had that water in there.
Fresh water.
Fresh water, so I got the old antifreeze tester, sucked out what I could, and there was quite a lot in there, so I thought, well, prudent thing is to pop the injectors. So I've popped the front 2 because they are the easiest to.
Yeah.
And then got back on the bar and it's gone a bit more, but now it's stopped again. So we're going to have to take the back 2 injectors out because those cylinders have obviously got water in them.
Look, that's the only place the water could get in, and that is not in there. So put it in the comments. Do you think that's been filled with fresh water, or has it got in here and it's rainwater?
I suppose it could have possibly.
Yeah,
couldn't it?
Yeah, there is water coming off there, isn't there?
It could have possibly, to be fair.
So maybe it's not been sabotaged.
No,
So
and we've just been very unlucky.
Yeah,
because
it's
been
run off
sat
of there
here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So it might be that, but either way.
Do you know what, Chris? I'm going to say it. Just by you hitting that, the water coming out,
just
that ain't been sabotaged.
No, forget that.
So it's a wrong thing to say, and I wouldn't normally say something like that.
No. So, but there's a couple of things that are a bit odd. The first injector pipe I took off because you've just got back and you said, "What have you been tapping out?"
Yeah, because I see the tap there.
And the first injector pipe I took off, that front one, was tight the whole way off. I mean, proper tight. So I don't know what's happened there, but anyway, I've chased that one out best I can because you can only get in so far, and I've run that down the injector. It fits lovely now. You know yourself, normally you crack them off and you spin them.
Yeah, easy, yeah.
Yeah, that one was tight the whole way off. So at some point, possibly, not, it wasn't cross-threaded, but at some point that injector thread, so whether that injector's been changed and someone's damaged that trying to rock it out, because they can be tight, can't they? But I don't know. But anyway, that was just, unfortunately, it was wishful thinking that it would be number cylinder 1 or 2, and we'd be, because they are, like I say, the easiest to get to. They're a bit more tricky at the back, but I'm going to have to take them out and then we spin
it over again.
I mean, we'll do it by bar, and if it goes the whole way, we can wang it over on the starter, can't we? And blow it. It'll blow it all out then, won't it?
Let's do that then, mate, and then get that turbo bolted on, fingers crossed.
Well, yeah, and we'll go from there.
All right then, mate. So now I'm back, of course, a coffee and a bit of a plan. Chris is telling me what he's come up with, you know, what he's found. Now, I previously turned the engine over in this, but I did only turn it a little bit with a bar to make sure that it weren't locked up. On inspection, Chris has got a bar on there and he couldn't get it to do a full revolution, so its injector's out, I'm afraid, and it is just 10 mils on those injectors, holding them down with the little clamps. And of course you've got your leak off hoses on there and your diesel pipes as well. Chris is getting them undone and I'm working away on the phone, actually arranging another car that's just being delivered. Just worth mentioning this, definitely, because the back 2 injectors are pretty stuck. So Chris went in and found a union the same size to bolt on the end of the injector that you can see there. Then he got one of his crow's feet out and he's stuck that over the top, which has allowed us to stick the bar in and actually wiggle it side to side, get a bit of movement in there, and we've popped that injector out. So we're going to do exactly the same to the rear one there, and then that's all 4 of them removed, and fingers crossed this engine will turn over. So just continuing on, it is, I mean, it's quite awkward to film. Even if you had a camera on your head here, you're backwards and forwards, you really wouldn't see anything. So I've got underneath there and I'm trying to turn it over again now that we've got the injectors loose, and thankfully it has started to do a full turn now and it is spitting out a lot of water, but we're going to take a look at that in a moment and I'll show you guys as well. But so far so good, it is looking okay. What we've done is obviously cracked those injectors. They're all lifted now, and I've spun it over quite a lot by hand with the big ratchet there and the bar. Quite a lot of water's come out, but you can't spin it over fast enough to pump out any more water that's in there. So Chris is just, I mean, we're expecting a little bit of diesel, but he's going to give it a little...
Ready?
Yeah. God, it made me jump.
Yeah, that's what I say. You ready?
Yeah. That's a lot of water coming out of there, mate, a lot. Stop it there for a minute. Come and have a look, Chris. Getting a bit of diesel out there, that's why you put that there, wasn't it? But
oh, yeah.
This one here.
That's running back down there, Johnny.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's no good, is it?
Yes.
Wonder, it does look
diesel.
like.
It is diesel.
Yeah, diesel, so that's obviously a diesel
sprayed
pipe.
over there.
Yeah.
We also need to check. We got
Yeah, oil's returning and pumping.
Yeah, so we got oil feed to the turbo. So what do you want to do? Do you want me to go on the key a couple more times?
I think
and blow
so.
that?
Yeah. I mean, the diesel we can clean off, no problem, but the water, that was, yeah. It's
I mean,
horrendous.
the other thing I could bring out here is like the leaf blower, and you could blow as I'm turning it, and it'll blow all that off of there.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, like you say, any that lays in there is just going to run back in those injector ports.
That's right. Yeah.
But we
Well,
give it
yeah,
at least it turns over.
Yeah, we'll do whatever we can.
You ready, mate?
I am ready. Look at the state of those injectors. Yep.
And the oil pressure light's gone out.
Has it?
So she's got good oil pressure.
Now come and have a look at the state of these injectors. I'm zoomed in, look.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
That water's been in there a while. Mind you saying that rusty colour's
But
going as I'm watching it.
I guess
Let me
where
just wipe
this has
this
been
camera,
stored,
sorry.
you know they said they took the turbo off and sent it back.
Yeah.
Where this has been stored before it's got here, the same thing's possibly happened, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And water's been going down there, so
It's let's get on it, mate. Yeah, because otherwise we'll be here trying to.
We've not risked a fortune on
Nah.
it, have we? We took a punt. Let's see. So I guess now we can go ahead and put those injectors back in, Rob.
Yeah, let's give it a good. I'm going to give all these a good wipe and a good clean, and then I'm going to get you to spin it over again. Give them another good wipe just before we put them all back. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a plan, mate.
Let's do it. So awkward to get these back in and get them bolted down. Chris said just lean that tripod in there and it will just show a bit more of under the bonnet, Rob. On the very rear injector, if you've worked on these before, you'll know that they got that fork that just slips over the injector, has 110mm through it, and getting that back one in there is a nightmare because you've got to tilt it up. So I'll put a bit of weight on the back of it, got a screwdriver in there, managed to flick it up just enough to push it in there. Chris got the bolt in, got it started, and that's that injector done. What a fiddly, horrible job that was to get them injectors back in. You can see we haven't plugged anything back in, but we have bolted down the injectors. We've put all the injector rail and fuel lines back on there. And Chris is just going to spin it over, ultimately make sure that it does spin over before we put everything back and then start fitting the new turbo. Go on, give it a try, mate. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. So we can move on now
we can
put the turbo
yeah, that's
on
right.
it.
That's right.
We just didn't want to put it on there and then it's
we-
locks up
yeah,
again.
Yeah, you
We're
couldn't
back
do
to
that.
square one.
And,
So yeah,
we're
there's
quite
plenty
happy.
of oil there.
We're quite happy with that, Rob. And all light goes out, so it's got oil pressure. So it's got half a chance.
It
hasn't
has, but can you believe that's just
I
started
know,
raining?
but we'll have to.
Unbelievable.
We're invested in it now, mate.
We are invested in it. Let's get this turbo fitted. It is just 3 bolts down there. You've got your clamp and your oil feed. Should be quite straightforward.
Yeah.
The hardest part, I think, is going to be putting all the intercooler and everything else back on it. But
Yeah, it's not too sad, to
Nah.
be fair. No.
let's go and grab that turbo out
Yep.
of my van and crack on.
You've got that.
So why Chris actually concentrates on getting all of that back together, I am going to get underneath in a minute and actually start putting that intercooler on. I can't believe it just started raining out of nowhere. It's been a beautiful day. There was a few spits and I thought that's going to be it, but it really did start raining. You can see the floors got quite wet and within seconds it stops raining, hood back down and the sun comes out. So on with all of that pipe work, the last few on the top there, on with the intercooler hoses, and I think we are pretty much buttoned up as much as we need to be just to test this one out and see what we've got. Well, it's got 2 chances, mate, so
Right.
that's it all back together. We've put the injectors in. I mean, nothing's set in stone, like we haven't put the fan on, we haven't put the under tray on. There's no point putting all of that on when it all can be done after, but Chris is just going to give it a wang and hopefully trying.
And then it cut out on its own.
Cut out on its own. I think they do, don't they?
Trying, isn't
It's
it?
going to fight. This time it will go.
You reckon?
Yeah.
It sounds a bit rough, doesn't it?
It does, but yeah, cut that. Shall I code clear it?
That sounds like it's only going on a couple of 3 cylinders,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Shall I code clear it?
Yeah.
It's probably worth doing, isn't it? For the
Yeah.
sake of plugging it in, it's going to take 2 minutes.
I mean, I suppose we double check everything, but it runs.
It runs.
So
We can move it.
we can move it.
Right.
Right.
I'll go and get the scanner and I'll quickly plug it
All
in.
right, good idea.
All I've done was a health check on our little computer and I just cleared it. It had loads and loads of codes because the battery was flat and we've cleared them. We're just going to give it another go. It's going to have a bit of air in the system as well, Chris, didn't
Yeah,
allow
of course
for
it
that.
is. Yeah, of course it is.
Oh, it's on 4 now. Top end's a bit tappy. But
She's a bit knocky.
don't sound too good at the minute, but it does sound like it's top end. Just let it tick over. But I'm going to get you to stay there in case it starts running on its own. You're going to have to dump the clutch and... I'll tell you what, I'll jump in there, see if you think that's... Nah, that's knocking.
That's what I mean.
That's toast, yeah. Let me just bend down there. Mate, nothing ventured, nothing
No.
gained. I didn't know, you didn't know. I'm going to bend down and get you to rev it. Yeah, go on. A
Little man in there with a hammer?
Little man's in there with the hammer, mate.
Well, like you say, it is movable.
Look, nothing lost. I borrowed the turbo. He said, don't rush to bring it back. He's got a good engine now that he's saving to buy a blown up one, and he's just let me borrow the turbo.
Does he want to buy one?
Mate, the money we paid for this, I think I told you when it first arrived. Now, we could repair one with this. If it's knackered, you're looking for money.
I was just seeing if there was anything.
The possibilities are endless with a van like this, aren't they? Because you've got like your airbags there, you've got a front end, you've got a good gear, but you can pretty much buy one that's smashed up and repair it with this. Or we don't know, do we? But yeah, do you want to see if it drives? Probably not even worth it, is it? Just pull forward.
Do you want to take that in, Lee? Is he?
Yeah, nothing's on it. Just, I'll tell you what I'll do, Chris. Just steer that way. Yeah, runs and drives.
Hey, runs and drives. 3/4 of a tank of diesel.
I'll tell you what we'll do now. We'll pull the old stickers off. We'll put it through Copart, run and drive.
It's got 3/4 of a tank of diesel, which is probably a few quid's worth of diesel.
Yeah. Mate, nothing ventured. No, do we care? It is what it is.
At least we know now.
And the worst way, he said to us, the engine's knackered.
You know, that's right, and it was.
So all of them assumptions of me saying, I think he got had over, was wrong for me to say.
No. I mean, Phoenix do rebuild them bottom ends. But
2 litre, I don't know.
I think he does.
Yeah, he must do.
But we'll maybe wait for one to come along smacked in the front, I guess.
I guess we'll see.
I don't know.
Leave it there for a minute, mate. You better turn it off anyway.
Yeah.
Wasting that diesel, it's the only good thing about it.
But it is what it is, isn't it, mate?
It is.
At least we know now.
Right, mate. Now, I was just telling Chris there, he can actually title this one Epic Fail.
Well, it is a bit of a fail.
It ain't epic though, is it? But it is what it is. And when we buy these cars, we do always expect the worst. We say, right, it's going to need an engine. And yeah, we've spent 3 hours on it, and you could probably say it's a waste, but it's not. Because if that engine was all right, it would have been brilliant. But you can't always have good luck. They reckon that we would fall down the sewer and come up smelling of roses.
Not always, no.
This time I would beg to differ. Anyway, that is going to be the end of today's video, and quite possibly the end of the series on this van. We don't know what we're going to do with it. I think we paid a really good price for it.
We did, yeah.
And like I say, we've got a late front end here. We've got everything else to repair another one. So who knows what way this one will go. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. We would really appreciate it. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram, Salvage Rebuilds, TikTok, Twitter. You can follow us on all of them. The links are in the description down below. And don't forget, if you want to buy or sell us one of your vehicles, you can always email me, sales, SIUK@gmail.com. We never let the cars go until they are listed on Instagram for sale. And that is the way to buy them if you did want to know. We'll see you all very, very soon in the next one.
No joke, Will.
No joke. Gonna have to buy a joke book.